Hello, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful black people. I hope that all is well in your world. And this beautiful day is a very progressive day for you and all of your wonderful, wonderful black loved ones. Beautiful black people. Sometimes you hear me suggest that our oppressors, which are white folks, are to a great extent inhuman as hell. Too many of those white folks are inhuman as hell. Look at how they own all of those guns. Look at how these crazy bastards will convene on a city, lying about the reason they are there, when in reality they are there to kill black folks. That's why they are arming themselves. That's why these white folks, these racist white folks, are arming themselves and traveling to these cities where black folks are protesting. These racist white boys and girls are going there to kill black folks. That's the real reason they are there. And the Republican Party is not much better. The Republican Party is only interested in money and power. They are not interested in legislature, legislating, policy making, governing. They're not interested in that. They're only trying to maintain the power that they have and increase that power. That's their intentions. What Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. knew, and MLK Jr. knew this, he recognized that this country had begun long before the ancestors of our ancestors. This plantation called America had begun long before the ancestors of our ancestors had taken their first breath. The evil of America, that type of evil thinking, thought process, had already begun. More than a century and a half before the American Revolution, a human hierarchy, that is the evil in the minds of white folks back then and still today in September of 2020. That evil is still in the minds of white folks. It's called Trump, his administration. It's called the Republican Party. And the Republican Party encompasses the KKK, these white nationalists, these white supremacists, these white folks that are taking these guns and traveling to Portland, Oregon, Kenosha, Wisconsin, to kill black folks, to kill any peaceful protesters, anyone that disagree with them. That evil human hierarchy had evolved on the contested soil of what would become these United States of America. It was a concept of birthright, the temptation of entitled expansion that would set in motion the world's first democracy called America. And with it came a ranking of human value and human usage. With this birthright came a ranking of human value and human usage. It would twist, it would evolve from the twisted minds of white boys as greed and self-reverence It eclipsed human conscience to take land and human bodies that the conquering white boys convinced themselves that they had a right to take. And these evil white boys knew that if they were to convert this wilderness, now called America, and civilize it to their likings, they decided that they would need to conquer. They would need to enslave. They would need to remove the indigenous people that was already on these rich soils called America, and transport those that they deemed lesser human beings from Africa to tame and work the land to extract the wealth that lay in the rich soils, and shorelines of this plantation called America. And to justify their plans, these evil white boys took pre-existing notions of their own centrality, reinforced by their self-interested interpretation of the Bible. They interpreted the Bible in a way to appease their evil thinking. So they created a hierarchy. Who could do what? They created a hierarchy of who could do what. Who could own what? Who was on top and who was on the bottom and who was in between. That hierarchy is still prevalent right here on this plantation called America today. Hence is one of the reasons I still refer to these rich soils called America as a plantation. These white boys emerged. They emerged a ladder of humanity. They emerged a ladder of humanity that was global in nature. As the upper rung white folks, would descend from Europe with rungs inside that designation. The English Protestants at the very top of their guns and resources would ultimately prevail in the bloody fight over North America. And then everyone else would rank in descending order on the basis of their proximity to those deemed most superior, those evil white folks, my beautiful, intelligent. And this ranking of human value and human usage would continue in a downward spiral to those until one arrived at the very bottom. Black Africans, captives, transported to build the new world and to serve the victors for all of their days, one generation after the next, for 12 generations. That was the inception of this caste system that I talk about in many of my audio presentations. The caste system is based on what people look like. The caste system is based on what people look like, my beautiful, intelligent black brothers and sisters. It is an internalized ranking, unspoken, unnamed, unacknowledged by everyday citizens, even as they go about their lives adhering to the caste system and acting upon it subconsciously to this very day, September the 13th, in the year of 2020, white folks go about their everyday business, unspoken, unnamed, unacknowledged, that this caste system is what guides them every day of their lives. Just as the studs and the joists and beams that form the infrastructure of a building are not visible to those who live in the building, so is it with the caste system. It is very invisible. And that is what gives the caste system its power and longevity. It is invisible. It is unacknowledged. It is unspoken. But it guides, drives those evil white folks every day of their lives. And though it may move in and out of consciousness, though it may flare up and reassert itself in times of protest and some violence, and recede in time of relative calm, that's how the caste system works. It is invisible. It is an ever-present through line. It is an ever-present through line in the country's operation. My beautiful, intelligent black brothers and sisters, that evil thought process of white folks created this system of hierarchy, this system of ranking human value and human usage based on skin pigmentation. And it's still prevalent right here on this plantation called America today. That's all I have on this one.